Folks, you may have heard me talk about my friends at YRefi before. What they do is truly amazing. So, are you struggling with private student loan debt? Is even your minimum payment higher than what you can afford? Maybe you're even in default? Well, you're not alone, and YRefi can help. They refinance private student loans that others won't touch, and they'll give you a custom loan payment based on your ability to pay. They work with each borrower individually to craft a payment that works for them. They can help you reduce your monthly payment and your total costs. You'll get a low fixed interest rate that you couldn't get anywhere else, and you'll be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel. And, important to note, YRefi does not care what your credit score is. Is private student loan debt wrecking your life and destroying your dreams? You don't have to live with this stress and worry anymore. Just go to YRefi.com, that's YREFY.com, and make sure you tell them that Riley sent you.
Live from New York, it's a show that is primed for trivia.
Don't give it away. Danny watches. I went 10 for 10. Don't say the category either because you'll cheat.
What did I do?
You did 7 for 10. Brew in spirit did 9 for 10. But the 1 is impossible.
Thank you for that, man.
Well, because you got the 2 he couldn't of the 10, and those 7 were as easy as could be. They were
he doesn't just get credit for all of my 7.
Are you giving me a break? He knew that
you would have gotten Patrick.
He knew that.
I wouldn't have got Patrick Ewing.
Come on,
one
guys.
of the greatest shot blockers ever.
Oh my God, you're giving away trivia. Danny's gonna cheat now.
If Danny wouldn't have got Patrick Ewing, he should be.
It's most shot blocks in Knicks history, Danny. That's the category. Yeah. Start looking.
First hour, first things first today. Easy win for the Spurs. Is Brew no longer concerned? Meanwhile, news today. We're getting closer to seeing Rodgers back.
Thank God.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, joy.
We've done this story 50 times. We had to come up with a question that doesn't even make sense. Is there a chance he can exceed expectations? That's not actually what we're asking. And finally, well, it's the most motivational segment in all of sports. It's the Bud List alongside Chris Broussard and Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright. I told Brew in the coffee room that my addition to the Bud List he will absolutely love. It might be my best addition because I'm gonna put a huge meatball over the plate and you're just gonna.
Can I tell a very, very quick 20-second Brew story?
Yeah.
After Brew stole yesterday's show with the winking
or lack thereof
extravaganza, I just want America to know this. Chris Broussard, who I've known for 10 years and worked with for the better part of 8 years and worked every day with for 5 years, called me. And do you know the first thing he said when he called me?
What?
Hi, it's Chris. I know, man. Your picture comes up. It's a big picture of you in a suit.
I come from an era of politeness when we were polite.
Hello? Could I speak to Mr. Wright? It's Chris. Co-worker. We start at San Antonio. Spurs win by 38. Wemby goes for 19 and 15, but Brew 10 fewer blocks than game one. That's concerning.
Yeah,
I was expecting
in the wrong direction.
Only got a pair.
Definitely.
Wolves seem moderately content to leave with a split. Here's Wemby.
I love how everyone had everybody's back. Tonight it looked like a system that worked. I'm just seeing it like it is, you know. I know this team is capable of doing all of this. To be honest, I'm expecting this kind of response from myself, from my teammates. So I'm not surprised by any means.
Brew, yesterday you said you were
concerned.
Are you still concerned?
Not as much as yesterday.
Oh.
I mean, game one was like
concerning.
Oh yeah, concerning. Not panic time, but concerning. Look, obviously, as somebody that picked the Spurs to win this series, I was very happy with what I saw. I mean, it was a rout. This is still going to be a tough series. I never wavered on whether the Spurs would win. Now I'm very confident again that they will win. I wouldn't go back to pre-series when I was like, I just don't feel like Minnesota can beat them. Now, I still feel like, look, the Spurs better bring it. Minnesota's going to be tough. And as great as the Spurs looked yesterday, the defense was just smothering, tenacious. They shot 41% from three. There undoubtedly was an element, and probably subconsciously, from the Timberwolves of you relax. I mean, you're not as desperate. The Spurs clearly were desperate. And so I'll factor that in. So I'm not like taking the T-Wolves for granted. But what I liked in addition to what I saw on the court was the post-game press conference from Wemby, where he was not celebratory. He was not, all jovial. It was very matter of fact. Like, we needed to play better. We needed to adjust. We did that, but we still have work to do. I'm not like, you know what I mean? He didn't seem like he's going to relax, which is what I like. As far as on the court, and you guys know I said this yesterday, after game one, that I wanted to see Wemby with the ball inside more. And we did see that. Like here, I mean, these are some plays, but I have a few. In game one, he took 17 shots. Not one of them was off a post up or even an elbow touch, a drive from the elbow or anything. It was all in transition, 3-pointers, or drives from the 3-point line. Yep. Yesterday, here's 2 from the second quarter. I thought we had. I don't know why.
And opportunistic.
Those were crashing, but I had some I wanted to see. For some reason, we don't have them. One, he was able to, early in the second quarter, Julius Randle was on him. He got it at the elbow, not a few feet from the elbow, at the elbow, and just muscled Randle down and scored. Then there was another one. I think it may have even been the next possession. Jaden McDaniels on him. Posted him up on the block and then just scored. Missed the layup. Got the rebound, scored it in. Back. So anytime Gobert's not on him or in the game, they should have a steady diet. Not all the time, but a steady diet of him inside scoring over the smaller defenders. And when Gobert's on him, he could take him outside and hit threes. I also thought, and I thought you guys made a good observation after game one, did the 12 shot blocks wear him down? Because he was not even going for the shot blocks the way he typically does. He blocked 2, but, early on, like his first block was midway through the second quarter. He wasn't everything in the paint he wasn't going for. Probably needs to find a balance. Obviously, you want him to block some shots. But I thought that was an adjustment that he made. So, look, the Spurs have impressed me in these playoffs with their ability to adjust strategically and also mentally and emotionally. You're 1-1 with the Blazers. Wow, you lost at home. Wemby's out. Are you in trouble? They adjust. And then yesterday, they obviously adjusted. So I think this is good.
So I think that analysis, a lot of it I agree with. Also, I want to give you credit because you said something a couple days ago that I thought was not even on the board because maybe I misunderstood, honestly, his current health situation and his stature with the team, which was you wondered if Pop would give him some advice on how to deal with it.
That's a great take.
And after the game, they said Pop led a film session. Which I thought was, when you first said it, I was like, I would like that too, but I don't know if he's currently up to it. Yeah. But he is more around than I had realized, and so that was, I thought, a really cool thing. I'm also glad you didn't. I was a little worried you were going to come out here today, dusting off your shoulders.
It's early.
Because I agree with you. This is a long series. Now, here are some things that could make it not as long as I would like as someone who, after game one picked Minnesota. Is Ant going? If Ant stays at this level, the Timberwolves are in real trouble. Like that, he can't be 20 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game with only moments of effectiveness.
But what are you expecting? Because this is, I think we've been talking about it recently as a flare-up. But if we zoom out, you've been talking about runner's knee for maybe over a month?
Yeah, no, so I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much. He seems to, want to start and want to be playing more minutes, and I think game 3 will be very telling on that. And I thought in game 1, he was really good until the end when he seemed a little worn out, which I thought maybe was because he hadn't played, been able to run or play in 8 or 9 days. Here's the other thing. I think Ayo's probably done for this postseason. Because he had a calf, and now he has a heel. Yeah. And I'm no doctor, but I know what's between the calf and the heel. Yes. And He's a young player who's never been paid, who's a pending free agent. If there is ever a time where it's like, hey, man, be cautious. Like, he tried to come back. He wasn't that effective. And then when I heard them say it's a heel, I'm like, no, buddy. Like, for your own sake.
We just know how serious.
Right, and so they are going to be a little shorthanded. And Mike Conley is at a point in his career where good games from him are a bonus.
Right.
With all that said, I am not overly discouraged by yesterday for a number of reasons. First one is the Spurs had to win this game. I know Brew explained how, well, there are the instances where a team lost the first two at home and came back. That would have been a catastrophic loss for San Antonio, in my opinion, lose the first two at home. The other reason is this was the Timberwolves as presently constituted without Dante, with Ant not at 100%. They are not good enough to beat an excellent team if they are not the more desperate team. They have to be peak, we are the hungrier team, basically every game. And this was the first game they played in a few where they weren't. Like Game 6 against Denver, I think they, even though Denver was the one facing elimination, I think they understood this is, we're at home. We don't want to go back to Denver. This is our moment, and they had the belief in it. Yesterday, it just felt like, even early when it was close, they didn't have the juice. And the Spurs played so well that they had, I do believe, the first ever alley-oop three that I've in the history of the league.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. And, you know, the Champagny had a personal 12-0 run. So they looked great. I would be stunned if the Spurs win both in Minnesota, and I would not be stunned if the Timberwolves win both in Minnesota. But I think they probably split in Minnesota, and we are back. You know what I mean? And it's a best of three after Game 3.
I would not be surprised if the Spurs win both in Minnesota. And I was actually I had two things to respond to you. One, I'll go to Ant first. And this was part of why I said Cade is probably the best American player in the league right now, because we haven't seen Ant consistently be at that superstar level. Now, it may be because of injury, but for a few months now.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, he's had some great moments, but he's not really taking over games, and he'll, you know, so
we've seen it in his career.
But just because of the knees bothering him apparently over the last couple months. So I think that's there. And I was going to come out and be kind and offer you an olive branch and feel like you just overreacted to game one.
I wanted to move on, but the fact that after game one, you decided to pick the Wolves and then they lost by 38 points.
I said yesterday I thought they were going to lose.
But not by 38.
I don't care about margin of victory. It's not the college football playoff, America. I don't care about margin of victory.
Last time you changed midstream, it was historically bad. It is, you know that. And I don't want you to have another situation like that.
I don't know how.
So go ahead.
We haven't brought out the olive branch in years.
All right.
Do you still have the olive branch?
I like the Timberwolves. I'll add one last thing that we haven't mentioned. Here's what has to happen in Game 3. Jaden McDaniels cannot get in foul trouble. He got in foul trouble in Game 1. They survived. He got in foul trouble in this game. They were dead, especially with Io out. He has to be able to stay on the court without fouling. Go ahead, Kate.
Meanwhile, at the Garden, this was a back-and-forth battle. Finally, the Knicks came out on top. Brunson and Maxey had 26. OG had 24, was hurt. He's day-to-day. How close was this game? Well, thank you for asking. Playoff games in the last 2 seasons. Been 138 total games.
Wow.
This is the only game in the last 2 years where neither team led by 8. Isn't that interesting? I was interested by it. Were you surprised this game was this close?
Look, even though I have great respect for, obviously, Tyrese Maxey, but Paul George is playing great. VJ Edgecombe, great rookie. And I like Kelly Oubre as a role player. So I had great respect for them. I did not, and I remember they beat Boston, obviously, without Embiid in Game 2. I did not expect this to be this close where they had a real chance to win down the stretch. And so I give them credit for that. Heck, the Knicks had not played a close game in 2 weeks. Their last 4 games were blowouts by unspeakable margins. So I did expect a little bit of a mental letdown with Embiid being out and the Knicks, not a 50-point win or 35-point win, but I expected them to win comfortably. So I credit the Sixers for the way they came out. One thing, what I think happened, look, all their starters, or those 4 guys I mentioned, played 40 or more minutes. Maxey played 47 minutes, 46 or something like that.
Can I show you how rare that is, Hubs, if you throw up the graphic? It's the second time the Sixers this playoffs have had 4 guys play 40-plus minutes. Everyone else, and the other one was Game 3 against Boston, another game without Embiid. The rest of the playoffs, it's a total of 2. Like they just don't have enough guys. But go ahead.
And that's what. And in the fourth quarter, after shooting 50% from 3 in the first 3 quarters, they go 1 for 10. They went something terrible, 4 for 19 overall in the fourth. They had no legs, and the Knicks, being one of the best clutch teams in the league, just kind of took it to them in the fourth quarter. So I wasn't, I thought they put forth a valiant effort. We'll see if Embiid comes back. They can still make it a series. Like I said, when he went out, I felt like the series is over. But if he comes back, OG Anunoby's now
day-to-day, they said.
Yeah.
So it came out day-to-day that he hurt his hamstring, which is concerning.
Yeah.
The fact they called it day-to-day, that's reassuring if you're a Knicks fan. And then the very latest reporting is they are not yet even ruling him out for Game 3. So that does.
I might hold him out from precaution
for Game 3 at least. I would think, and then see how he looks, because the Knicks can afford to do that. Because while they have a very strong starting 5, and Josh Hart played basically the whole game yesterday, they have depth that the Sixers don't. This is a game where, and you guys know how fond I am of Daryl and how good of a job I think in Holy he's done. This is a game where they probably wish they had Jared McCain.
Yeah, I still don't understand that.
Which is in this spot they could have used somebody. I mean, the Barlow is an undrafted player in his 3rd year. He's playing big minutes or important minutes for them. Yep. Drummond's a fine backup center, but he's your starting center when Embiid is out. But I wasn't surprised at all that the Sixers had a chance to win, because the Knicks are not the greatest team in the history of the NBA, and they were on literally the greatest stretch of playoff blowouts in the history of the NBA. So they were due to have a game where it's at least nip and tuck. Now, 25 lead changes maybe I didn't expect, but it really did feel like the Sixers flatly ran out of gas. And it does feel like unless Embiid comes back, they just won't have enough horses. Yeah. That they are going to be asking so much of Maxey and of George, and like you said, basically everyone. Edgecombe maybe can do it because he's a rookie and has, the energy for it. But at this point, I found myself watching the game and saying, man, maybe this is silly. But I saw Mike Conley give some good minutes in games 1 and 2. Like, can we dust off Kyle Lowry for 5 minutes and see what he has to give?
Kyle Lowry.
I mean, he must be there solely for just his
But he
locker
played a
room
few minutes throughout the year, but I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Because you're right.
I watched Kyle Lowry last year, and he was okay.
Yeah, and so but my biggest takeaway from yesterday in the NBA, to be totally honest, is everything is coming up, Brew.
What was this one?
I mean,
the Spurs
what a
blowout
year so far.
His Eastern Conference Finals pick is Pistons-Knicks. The Knicks got stronger in the series, but we'll wait and see really what OG looks like, but maybe got weaker as far as their ability to win the East. And everything, I mean, it's just...
So I will say to that, the Knicks look better than Detroit right now. There's no question. And I won't just say because Detroit owned them in the regular season, they're going to beat them in the playoffs. That was my pick. But if Anunoby cannot play against Detroit or he's severely hindered, I think that's going to be tough for the Knicks. Because he brings a lot of their toughness.
Just for whatever it's worth, I wouldn't play him in Game 3 And I almost assure I don't think I would play Anunoby unless Philly ties the series. I would just
if the doctors are like, look, if he gets a week off, he should be back
fine. Then I would use if you sit him for game 3 and 4 and you lose them both, then you got to play he's got to be back and ready to go for game 5.
Smart.
But I would definitely sit him game 3, and if you win, then obviously you sit him. If you lose, I think I would anyway.
Game 2 in OKC tonight. Lakers again are 15.5-point underdogs. SGA coming off one of the worst games of the year for him. Hadn't scored below 20 in a year. So how did he follow that game up? Well, glad you asked.
Oh, yeah.
He had 40 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, and went to the line 14 times, made 12. So a pretty good bounce-back game. What do you expect from SGA tonight?
And that was a playoff game.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Because
he doesn't score under 20 in the regular season. So
I expect greatness.
40 points?
No, 30 plus. 30 plus, which is his average. So, but, I think he's going to come out. I think he's not going to be looking, as he often does, for let me get the foul. I think he's going to go to the mid-range or to the basket to score. And I think he will get fouled on some of them, but I think that'll be an impact. And I think he obviously had a lot of turnovers, 7, versus the different defenses and looks that the Lakers gave him. I think he'll be much more prepared for those. And again, not looking for because some of his turnovers were from him going up in the air looking for a foul and then just trying to pass it. So I don't think he'll have as many turnovers. I think he'll be better equipped for their double teams and the different defenses they throw at him. So I think he'll be great. And I don't think you were saying this yesterday, Nick, but it could be taken like he is not as good in the postseason. So I have a few graphics. He is a great playoff player. Here's one graphic from his career. He gets better, points and assists in the playoffs. That's his career.
We can come back to this.
The second one is the last 3 years. I don't care about 20. You can have a good game without scoring 20. 18 points can be a good game. But he averages, last 3 postseasons, he's 30-6 on efficient shooting. So the notion that he don't get it done, and again, I'm not sure you were saying that totally, but he gets it done in the playoffs.
No. He definitely, he's been a top playoff king of the hill. He definitely gets it done in the postseason. What I will be very clear on what I'm saying. I do not think he is as inevitably unstoppable in the postseason. That's the point I'm making. And the reason the first graphic, the reason it didn't move me quite so much is because early in his career, he was a role player, and that hurts his regular season numbers, but he wasn't making the playoffs.
But some of those he was in the playoffs as a role.
I think only 1 year. I think only 1 year with the Clippers.
Because he played some minutes, so his numbers were low.
And so, I do think that the playoff whistle hurts him a little bit.
He gets to the line. If you look at his last 3 years, he still gets there.
He gets the line a ton.
In the playoffs, too.
No, I agree. Yeah. But he never has a bad regular season game. And about once a series, he has a below average playoff game. He is still one of the, I guess maybe the differentiator I would draw is, it is hard to argue there is any single player in the league you would rather have in the regular season. And I think he is a top 4 player you'd want in the postseason. So you're right, Brew. If people thought I was saying he's a bad postseason player, it's not even close to that. There's no evidence of that whatsoever.
So do you think he lights it up tonight?
So, to Brew's point, does playing to your averages count to light it up? The guy averaged 31.5 a game in the regular season on good efficiency. But
I would count that as like.
Yeah, and to be honest, I would probably take the under on that because I think the Lakers are going to. Part of game 1 was he wasn't getting the calls and he turned the ball over. And part of game 1 was the Lakers' strategy was someone else is beating us. We are sending 2 at you. We're going to play 4 on 3 the rest of the way. And even with the turnovers, he dealt with it better than I saw Durant deal with it. Yeah. And his teammates, by the way, are more equipped to help him deal with it better than that. But so that maybe is what I expect. What I expect is probably 28 points, 9 free throw attempts and 8 assists, something like that, which is, a very good game, especially if they're selling out to stop you.
Yep.
Can I tell you what I would like to see from Shea tonight? Because you mentioned that the noise about his Broadway act is getting loud. That he's got to hear it. Well, we know he hears it because in round 1, after I think an and 1, he yelled, "I don't need it."
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't need the calls. I would love for Shea to go out tonight because the Thunder are in pretty strong position in this series. 15.5-point favorites. They don't have to play a perfect game to win. And show all of us that criticize him how much he doesn't need it. I would love to see the league. So
what does that look like? Just like what I said, just not flailing and trying
exactly right. Like the way that again, they're very different players, but the way that, to me, peak Anthony Edwards approaches getting contact. Now, again, they're different players. Ant's not looking for the mid-range, but where I am playing through it. You know what I mean? I would love to see Shea shut us all up for a night. To where, you know what, guys? You're not going to be able to put together a montage of me slipping on a banana peel that's not there. You're not going to be able to, because I don't need it. Because that is the undercurrent of my Shea opinion is guys who can only be effective doing it a certain way, I give a lot of leeway to. Like who's the greatest defensive guard? One of the greatest, Gary Payton. Let's use him. If Gary Payton did the Alvarado stuff, I would hate it. I would be like, you don't need to do it. Like you don't, but Alvarado does it, and I defend him with you because it's like, hey man, like you need to do it. Some of the Bruce Bowen, right? Those things, like this is what you need to do to be great. So I'm going to give you a wide berth because it's what keeps you in the league. Shea doesn't need it. And so it feels unnecessary.
I think there can be a balance. Like, I don't mind you accentuating a bump a little bit. Now, I think the flailing, and some of those he wasn't even hit. No, that's ridiculous. But if you get bumped and you kind of accentuate it, I don't really mind that.
I would do it more.
I mean, it's all gamesmanship,
An early appearance from the sports media ombudsman.
Barkley.
It's next on FS1, the Fox Sports Channel in Sirius.
Get ready for some 80s and 90s NBA talk.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pros' #1 most trusted app. If you're hearing me, I'm going to assume you're awake. And if you aren't, because while you're snoozing, someone else might be finding your dream home. That's where Realtor.com comes in. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, that's a lot of chances to find the place you've been dreaming of. Whether you're searching for a 2-story mid-century with a pool or a little extra space with a spa-inspired bathroom, Realtor.com can help you find it today. So quit hitting that snooze button. Realtor.com isn't sleeping on finding your dream home, and neither should you. Download the Realtor.com app today, 'cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pros #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
2 billion views. We're headed there?
We are closer to 2 billion than to 0. But we're closer to 1 billion than to 2 billion.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Time now for a special 3:30 edition of the Sports Media Ombudsman.
Not quite.
Draymond joined the Inside the NBA team, and the conversation turned to what success looks like for a player in his late 30s. Here was the exchange between Barkley and Draymond. Take a listen.
Try not to cringe.
Listen, sports are for young people. You hope to have a great long career, but sports, nobody wins when they're 37, 38.
But you said what you said. I want to hear if he believes what you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal is just to not look like you in the Houston Rockets uniform.
Yeah.
Is ultimately the goal for us. Like, we don't want to.
What does that look like?
Did you see it?
I'm just asking.
I saw it.
You hated this.
Well, I just, I don't believe he saw it. And Chuck is one of the reasons Chuck's so good on TV is because he's self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Chuck also has made, one of his big criticisms is Durant for joining the Warriors. And because of that, he has drastically and repeatedly underplayed how good he was when he joined the Rockets because there's a few too many, not identical parts to it, but similarities.
He joined a great.
He joined a team that was a year removed from back-to-back champions who knocked him out of the playoffs in back-to-back years, and he was 3 years removed from being an MVP, and Hakeem was 2 years removed from being an MVP. With that said, Chuck is an all-time legend who is 10-time first or second team All-NBA, who his Rockets tenure, which is the worst part of his career, can go blow for blow with Draymond's career. And you guys know, I've said for years, Draymond is the second most important member of the Warriors dynasty, in my opinion. Draymond's an all-time great defensive player. But Draymond should get his facts straight on who he's talking to and what he's talking about. Because for whatever it's worth, here's Barkley as a Rocket, again, the worst part of his career, and Draymond. The last time Draymond averaged 16 points a game, he was a Spartan.
Right.
Now, he was his senior year in college. That's the nadir of Barkley. And you'd be like, what are the playoffs? Okay. Barkley's best playoff run with the Rockets against Draymond's best playoff run of his career. Barkley, they went to the loss in the conference finals versus losing in the finals. And then there is, of course, the final playoff series of Barkley's career against the best playoff series of Draymond's career. That's Barkley in 1999, losing to Shaq and Kobe and the Lakers as an out-of-shape Houston Rocket against Draymond's absolute personal offensive peak. So I know they're different players. I know they have different styles. But I don't love the idea that this is where, Brew, I would say, and then I'll shut up, this is some of the toxicity of ring culture. Where Draymond has convinced himself, I got 4 rings, you got none. So ultimately, you can't talk to me. And it's like, man, Draymond's a Hall of Famer, an all-time great player. Barkley was a different caliber of player than Draymond Green could have ever dreamed of being. And I just didn't like it at all.
I tell you what, it would be interesting to know if Draymond considers himself better than Barkley. Like, both of them prime of their career. Draymond is going to be a Hall of Famer, and rightfully so. Dennis Rodman was a superb rebounder and defender, but rebounding was out of this world. Maybe the best inch-for-inch rebounder ever. Yeah. Probably. But, so I don't put Draymond necessarily at that caliber, but they're similar in terms of their Hall of Fame candidates. They were a part of a bunch of winning teams. They played key roles, but they were role players. They're superstar role players. Barkley was just a phenomenal individual player who is underrated. And you showed some of the numbers from the
worst
bottom
part of his
career. Right. Yeah. Barkley is awesome. He's one of the best power forwards ever. I think he's better than several power forwards that won rings. Now, people might not rate him higher, but he was incredible. In this situation, Barkley said nothing wrong. Everything he said was true. Hey, you guys had one of the best runs ever. You're old now. And they are old, and they're not a contender. So nothing he said was wrong. But Draymond sitting there in the midst of, I'm still playing. And I get it. I've been a champion. I'm still one of the best defenders in the world. Mm-hmm. Steph is still one of the best players in the world. Jimmy Butler may be back. I get Dre not wanting to surrender. And Barkley was basically saying, y'all need to surrender. And so I get Dre not wanting to surrender. And he got angry, and he took a shot, an ugly shot at Barkley. And I don't know if he was expecting guys to chuckle, and nobody did.
And Barkley
it was really
didn't let him off the hook.
Right.
Barkley could have laughed and
went,
cut the tension. Instead, he made Draymond sit in it.
Well, I think Chuck did a good job by not going back at Draymond, because people say it was a little uncomfortable as it was. it would have been maybe really uncomfortable had Barkley been like, hold up, though. Like, you weren't even close to the player
But that's not who
was.
Charles
That
is on
actually
TV.
would have been better.
Than just sitting there and
just
taking
silence.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was odd here, but like I said, he took it. He could have been like, dude, I would have put you in the basket and dunked on you and put you in the basket. Like,
do you want to go, KW?
No.
You don't on the. Okay.
You have nothing to say about this?
I don't know how many Draymond media beefs I can keep up with in 1 week. I spent a lot of energy trying not to keep up with the Austin Rivers stuff. Now it's the Barkley stuff. So I'm just I don't know.
No, I
don't have
just
a lot of
thought I
energy
thought
for it.
you were more interested in what he was saying the contention for them is now.
Oh, that was wild too.
whereas
I don't want to do that either.
Okay,
it was a lot of.
It was like
The success thing, that's what hit my radar just because I thought it was more interesting than a media feud. That he's redefining success for the Warriors as sellouts. We're talking about attendance numbers and national TV games is
that's a
lowering
different type of
of
surrender.
the bar. Yes,
that is a surrendering.
It's a real like. All right, now we're just kind of all on a fake retirement tour.
I almost feel like he might have just been. Now I could be totally wrong, but just talking off the cuff to try to justify.
I think he was a little tilted.
I doubt he's really sitting there like, hey, we're still selling out.
We're on the
like
national
he wants
TV.
to win. I just think
well, it's not like a concert.
And for
totally
our
agree.
younger viewers, and by younger I just mean if you're not 40 or above, so you don't even have to be that young. Spend 5 minutes now. Just type into YouTube 1993 Western Conference Finals, and what you'll see from Barkley. The 43, 15, and 10, and then a Game 7 44-point, 24-rebound to get to his one and only NBA Finals. It reminds you of the level of player he
as
was.
basically a 6'5" power.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, from linear television to the streaming worlds. Jaylen Brown returned to his stream after Celtics president of basketball operations Brad Stevens commented on some conjecture that Brown was frustrated with the organization. Here was Jaylen Brown last night on the stream.
First things first, a lot of stuff swirling around the Celtics and the organization. Hate that our president of basketball operations even had to respond to this. Me and Brad have a great relationship. I love Boston. If it was up to me, I could play in Boston for the next 10 years. I say this and I stand on this again, and y'all can clip this up. This was my favorite season of my career. Like, I will say it even louder. Like, this, I stand on it. I triple down, quadruple down, whatever y'all want me to say, chat.
Okay. What's up, chat?
He goes on.
That's his chat, yeah.
You know, we couldn't run the whole stream because it
We
was
didn't have
almost
we
an
can't
hour.
pay the license.
No, right.
Yeah. But
When
it
Brew
was.
called me today,
Yeah?
could I?
Go ahead.
He wanted to know how he can watch the Twitch stream. Maybe I just
I'm not on Twitch. It's easier than I expected.
Yes.
Because Brew wanted to watch as much as
It's
possible.
almost like
He wants to do the
YouTube,
job.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hop on.
All right, to Jalen's credit.
Yeah.
We cut that off, but I think the first go-round on it was my favorite year, was taken by us and everyone who heard it as a very internal accomplishment. I was in the MVP discussion. Not that he said that, but I think that's how it was taken. This time he specifically shouted out the growth of different players, including watching Tatum's return. Yeah. Okay, so that leads us to, should the Celtics trade or keep them Jaylen?
Well, look, I'm glad you brought up the context, because I am not taking Jaylen saying this was a favorite year of my career as a shot at Tatum. Now, maybe it is, but I'm not taking. Yeah, I'm not. I get how he could be like, look, first of all, this is one of the few years in recent memory we've been kind of an underdog, and I overachieved. He didn't say that, but so many other players overachieved. We worked together as a team. Jason, I don't think he went this far, but, you know, Jason's working his butt off to get back. He comes back early and helps us out. Like, so I'm fine with it. And then he didn't say it, but I'm sure he feels that he's a human being. Individually, he balled out, and he went to another level. And so I don't have a problem with that. To answer the question quickly, I would not go into this offseason feeling like I got to split this up.
I agree.
But I would just be open to everything. Like, who's out there? Giannis, if the Knicks lose into Detroit or whatever, this series, Cat, like, just look at things. Cat can play.
For who?
I mean, it might be Cat and something else, but I'm just saying I would sit there and look at different. This team keeps. I mean, they're not. You can't break them up.
I don't know.
You got an issue with Cat?
No, I like Cat a lot. But this team, I just saw these two guys after everyone was trying to break them up for years, win the championship.
Yeah, but
that's one championship in 9. I'm just saying
Brad Stevens said we're not as close as we think. So
That's all. I'm not saying.
I don't
I'm
think
just
he's
saying. Look at
Brown
everything.
for Towns straight up. He would do Brown for Giannis straight up.
Giannis,
and I would even be open to, do we move Tatum?
So
I mean, I'm open to all that. You don't have to move him. I'm just saying I'd be open to look.
Hubs, just give me 60 seconds here. I would not. I totally agree with Brew. It's not like, all right, it's not A.J. Brown. We have to trade the guy. Right. And to be honest, I don't think you're going to be able to get likely fair value for Jaylen Brown without Giannis being on the returning end. And I don't know how you're going to get fair value for Tatum because despite the great year Jaylen Brown had, I think Tatum is a one tier above him. I think Tatum is a perennial first-team All-NBA candidate, and I think Jaylen Brown is a perennial All-NBA candidate. There's a differentiator there. Last point, I'll do it quickly. I think my only advice to Jaylen Brown would be, and I don't mean this ironically because this was on Twitch, I think he maybe should be a little less online. Because in my experience, and I'm speaking for myself, if I say something on TV that maybe I shouldn't have, or I feel like, did I do that right? But what I read is anonymous people on my phone are criticizing it. That's when I'm like tripling down. And that's what he said. If I say something and Brew or KW, Blanche, or my wife after the show is like, hey, that's when I'm like, do I want to fix that? Like, right. And my gut feeling is Jaylen was, instead of responding to people in his actual human beings in his life who are like, hey, man, I know what you meant, but people are going to take that as a shot at JT or that you don't want to be here. I think if that were the case, his response would have been, hey, listen, I want to explain to everyone why I said what I said and all of that. But when he's like, I'll quadruple down, chat. That to me is a sign of you are talking to the people on your phone who were talking to you through your phone. And
he took a lot of shots. He took a lot of shots at the media too.
And so
I don't know who he was talking about, but he's talking about guys that had it easy and never had to work.
I mean, he also then tweeted today Stephen A. should retire.
Nearly home. Isn't home where we all want to be? Reba here for Realtor.com, the pro's #1 most trusted app. Finding a home is like dating. You're not just looking for a place to live, you're searching for the one. That's where Realtor.com comes in. Like any good matchmaker, they know exactly where to look. With over 500,000 new real listings straight from the pros every month, you could find your perfect match today. Ranch style with a pool, barn dominium with an in-law suite? Realtor.com's got them. Modern craftsman with a big yard and a treehouse out back? Realtor.com will have you saying, yep, that's the one. No more swiping. It's time to start finding. Download the Realtor.com app today, cause you're nearly home. Make it real with Realtor.com.
Pro's #1 most trusted app based on August 2024 proprietary survey. Over 500,000 new listings every month based on average new for sale and rental listings. February 2024 through January 2025.
Afternoon headlines brought to you by Backyard Grill, only at Golden Corral. Great news, guys. Rodgers is closer to becoming a Steeler. Now, despite our Cardinals story that we did. Ian Rappaport reporting that he'll visit Pittsburgh this weekend and is planning to play, although the deal is not done. The ink is not even wet.
I don't want to. You're the host. I apologize.
Or is the deal
As
done?
first reported by 93.7 The Fan.
Oh, the Pony?
The morning show from the Pony Station.
Oh, it's not the Pony?
No. They first reported it, and Rappaport credited them, but then now everyone's crediting Rappaport. So I just want to give local radio my roots.
Andrew Filipponi.
Yeah, but he's not the one who reported it. The morning show reported it.
What's the morning show called?
I think Colin Dunlap reported it.
Shout out to Colin Dunlap.
Yeah. It might not have been him, but it was.
Here's Rodgers' season. His ranks kind of mediocre across the board. 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
That's the one thing that's good.
Not bad.
I mean,
So, Brew, we've done this story 50 times, so we decided to switch it up. Is this a good sign for the Ravens?
no.
What?
This is bad news for the Ravens.
Really?
I mean, it's not horrible news. It's not frightening news, but Pittsburgh will be better with Aaron Rodgers than with Will Howard or Drew Aller at quarterback. My whole issue with Rodgers to Pittsburgh is the organizational direction or the long-termness of is it better? They're going to go maybe 8-9, 9-8, possibly 10-6 with Rodgers. Maybe make the playoffs and get beat as a wild card.
You got a tie.
Yes,
Right? 10-7, right? Without him, they might win 4 to 6 games. So I'm just saying they are now, if they're a decent team, that's just, it's already a rivalry with Baltimore. So they're going to be tougher to beat. Now, Baltimore, I think, is the best team in the division. I think Cincinnati's second best. But I'm just saying now that Steelers game that without Rodgers probably is an easier win will be a little tougher. I'm not scared of them or anything for the Ravens, but
fair.
I totally disagree with you on that.
Really?
Yes.
So you think the Steelers will be worse with Rodgers?
I actually don't think that's what. I don't think the Ravens care if the 2 games against Pittsburgh this year are a touch more competitive. Here's why I think this is good news for the Ravens. KW, after Brady and Belichick, what was the biggest reason for your guys' 2 decades of dominance?
Oh, quarterback
and coach,
I'm also say quarterback turnover in the AFC East.
The fact that for 20 years, none of your divisional competitors had a franchise quarterback.
No, and as soon as one showed up, we started losing.
Right, and I would argue the single biggest thing working against Patrick catching Tom's records is the coach and quarterback division of all the divisions might now be the AFC West. Every single year, the Steelers kick this can down the road is good for the Ravens.
Yeah.
Every short term, yes. This now the 2 games with Pittsburgh are a touch harder. But you know what? Because he is better than Drew Aller, they are so much less likely to get the franchise quarterback next year. They are so much more likely to continue to be on this treadmill of mediocrity. And now Lamar's in a division where it's like, I got one other quarterback that matters in Burrow, and the Browns are nowhere close to having a quarterback that matters, and the Steelers are in denial about how much a quarterback matters. Like, nothing would have thrilled me more as a Chiefs fan than if the Raiders were like,
let's go.
Listen, we think
Cousins is the long term.
We think Arvell Reese is a franchise changer. Kirk Cousins is going to do it. I'd be like, awesome. Even though this year, Cousins might be better than Mendoza. So I think it's great news for your Ravens. I think the Steelers' thirst to not be awful is the worst thing they have going for them. And just not willing to reset for a year. And Rodgers will prevent that. Also, I think Rodgers is going to squeeze them on the money. I think that's the hidden subtext of this, is that I think Aaron Rodgers is like, yeah, last year was the discount year. But I'm not playing for $15 million.
Well, he shouldn't play for 15.
No, I'm just.
What's a fair number for him?
Well, I mean, 30 would be like what the lowest paid veteran quarterback other than Malik Willis makes. But I just don't know that Pittsburgh is anticipating that. But they have painted themselves, into a corner.
And may I remind everybody, last time Rodgers and McCarthy were together, it didn't go well.
You can remind us, but
a long time ago.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Live from New York. It's a show. It's shouting out Dusty. Having a great time, I saw on his Instagram.
I can't.
Having a blast in Japan.
I've worked with Dusty for 9 years.
Yeah.
I don't have his Instagram.
What?
I don't.
He's pretty good.
You don't follow Dusty?
I'm not really an Instagrammer. Let me, in fact, you know what? Let me use this opportunity real quick. Anyone out there, because we've had like famous people reach out to the show via my Instagram, and I don't see it for 3 months.
Yeah, nobody reached out to me?
No,
like that too.
Seal.
What, really?
The great Seal.
Seal reached out?
Seal reached out. I saw it 3 months late. So now part of
What Seal thinks you're big time.
No, that's what I'm worried about because I don't respond. So now Gianna sends me a text because she posts for my Instagram for it. She texts me. She's like, "Hey, you got a DM you should check." So that's good. So I don't know.
She does let us know. Yeah,
she's great.
Okay, also, while we're making Instagram announcements, if you want to Instagram message me, just talk about the stuff that I said, okay? Or you have a question for me?
Why?
Or is it good?
What do they
Hey,
do?
can you tell Nick this? hey, can you get this message to Brew? Yeah, I can. I'm not going to. You do it. You email it. I'm not. It's ridiculous. Hey, man, tell Nick. I'm not going to. Today.
I hear you.
Can LeBron outplay SGA again? And if he does, what does it mean?
If he's not, out of the GOAT combo.
That's true. Meanwhile, did Wemby silence all of Brew's concerns by scoring not 20 points?
KW's
You
big on
keep
this
saying you're a
20-point
Wemby
thing.
guy, and then you take
KW
shots.
I like seeing the ball in the basket. I'm old school. You know what I would like to see? I don't like that. A 3-point shot.
Really?
After 7-5.
I'll take it. in a smaller doses. Yeah. I'll take it.
Exactly. Time now for the most motivational segment in all of sports. Also time where we read some viewer mail. Tons of mail this week, not just to my Instagram account, real letters. Here's one.
You don't even try anymore. You used to have an envelope. You used to open the envelope. There was a stamp you drew.
Yeah, I know.
Now, and then
Only
you stopped doing that, and it was on your script, and you would fold it like a letter.
But
now
at a
it's
certain
just
point, I'm like, why am I drawing a fake stamp upstairs?
because
On
it
the
helps.
third floor, I'm drawing a stamp. I would use 2 markers. I'm like, oh, I gotta look like American flag. So stupid.
What's the
Dear
line?
Wilds, love the show. Thanks for the letter. Didn't love how Brew said he couldn't wink. Brew, you should have said, I can't wink yet. Don't give up. We believe in you. Sincerely, Ryan and Brian. Did you make any progress in trying to wink, bro? It's the mouth. You don't need too much going on.
Well, I did get better as the show went on.
That's what I'm saying. If you just dedicated some time to it.
Is it that important that I got to learn how to wink?
I really like.
I got better.
When Brew very earnestly said, I'm good at a lot of things. Yeah. Winking ain't one of them. I've come to terms with it. All right, go ahead. Sorry. As you were.
There's a theory out there.
What's that?
Really?
Yeah, there's theory online. There's a theory online that you can wink. That you can wink, and this whole thing you're setting up for like a Week 16 Ravens win.
The ultimate misdirection.
That you turn to the camera, wink perfectly. You wink like you're Cary Grant or something.
The ultimate misdirection, as you said.
Yeah.
Were you guys taught how to wink?
No.
You just naturally know how to do it, right?
I know.
Somebody taught you?
What?
I don't know.
Because I
feel
mean,
like
something like debonair grandfather.
No. I feel like I taught Deanna, my youngest,
to wink. Just
I
close
would wink
one
at her,
eye.
and she would be like, "I can't." When she was a little girl, and I would, I think I taught her how to wink.
So you could teach me how to wink.
I would love to, bro.
Gianna, you have a whole social series. Time for the
All right, here we go. Number 3 on the buzz list this week, Anthony Edwards. All right. Now, look, you are fighting valiantly through 2 knee injuries. All right. So we nothing but love and respect for you. This is not at all an indictment, you being on this week's Bud list. And Your starting backcourt mate, Dante DiVincenzo, is out for the series with injury. So we could argue that this series, I know you guys want to win. Obviously, you've been to the last 2 conference finals. There's a lot of evidence that you're playing with house money.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're the banged up team. You're the 6th seed. San Antonio's the 2nd seed. So that, you got house money. This is all motivation for you because what is out there? I know you have said you don't want to be the face of the league, but that is the opportunity that is staring you right in the face. You have already taken out a giant in beating Nikola Jokic in the first round. You have a chance to take out, no pun intended, another giant in Wemby in this round. If you were to do that and then take out the defending champion Giants OKC in the next round, I know I'm going long term, and then win the championship at 24 years of age, you would become the NBA's darling. Right now, you would be the face of the league. You have the charisma, you have the personality, you have the spectacular game. Endorsements? Oh my gosh, all over the place. Movies? I watched you steal the show in Hustle, which was a great movie. Adam Sandler was in that movie.
Yes.
And you were fantastic. Maybe stole the show. So that is all waiting for you if you can find a way to win this series. And if you win this series, why can't you beat OKC? If you beat OKC, why can't you beat whoever represents the East? And the good thing, Nick, for him, again, you're doing it in a non-pressure situation. If you guys lose this series, nobody's going to be criticizing Anthony Edwards. So I don't think you're going to win this series, but I do believe in you.
I think it would be the hardest run to a finals ever.
I mean, it's up
going
there.
Through the guy who people call the best player in the world, a 60-win Spurs team, the defending champ Juggernaut Thunder, and the two-time MVP, without another superstar teammate. I think it would be.
And let's just keep it. Wemby obviously is young. We'll see, but 2 already guys that are all-time greats, and Shea and Jokic, and then one everybody projects to be. So. Yeah, it would be fantastic. All right, at number 2, Austin Reeves. All right, Austin, you are a fantastic rags to riches story. Undrafted. First 2 years in the league, only started 41 games. Now you are a 23.5 assist, all-star caliber player. So congratulations to you. Again, nothing but respect for what you've done. But this summer, you're going to be a free agent. We all expect you to opt out of your contract. Be a free agent, and the question will be, how much money do you get? Are you a max guy? If you're not a max guy, how much should we get? Should you be close to the max? And then, whenever LeBron leaves the Lakers via retirement or just goes to another team, can you be the second guy on a championship level team? These are all questions out there that you can answer in this series, or at least, I think you can answer them in this series, even if you lose, which everybody's expecting. OKC, if you can't play better against OKC, then I think all 3 of those questions are very much in jeopardy. A lot of people are going to say not a max guy. A lot of people are going to say can't be the second guy on the championship team. And so there's a lot at stake for you beyond just winning this series for the Lakers. You have been handcuffed by OKC. You played them 4 times this year. You averaged 13 points, 4.5 turnovers on very inefficient shooting, 17% from 3. So nobody's expecting you to win this series. Nobody's going to kill you individually if you don't. But you do need to play better individually to secure what is going to be a big offseason for you. Austin, I think you're a very good player. I'm waiting to see what you do against the Thunder. All right, at number 1, Donovan Mitchell. Now, look, Donovan, I'm a historian of the game.
Everybody knows it.
I I don't kill a 6'2 guard for not leading teams to championships. All right? There have been 3 in the history of the NBA who have done it. Gus Williams for Seattle in 1979, and it's arguable, was he the best player?
Correct.
You had Dennis Johnson, you had some other really good players. Isaiah Thomas, of course, to 2 championships, and then Steph Curry. That's it. And Steph is 6'3", but that's it for small guards. Even in this era of parity, where we haven't had a repeat champion in 7 years, it hasn't been guards other than Steph leading, or small guards, leading teams to championships. So I don't kill you for that. The thing is with you haven't even gotten to a conference final. And then the thing is, this year, when the Eastern Conference is open, right? Detroit has 1 score. The Knicks looking really good, but, they're not a world beater. At least not at this point. They don't look like it. And then the Sixers are all banged up and have no depth. Boston's out. Indiana's injured and out. Like, this is an open East for you with James Harden, with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, who's a very good player, to get to at least the conference finals, if not the finals. And what are you doing? Having the worst playoffs of your career. Now, it's not horrible. You're still over 20 points a game. But for you, you've been a little down the last 6 games, 20 points a game, not as efficient as usual, and not carrying your team. So the question is, if you guys lose this series, will you be in Cleveland next year? Will they look to move on? Will they feel like you can't carry them to the next level? So there's a lot on the line for you, Donovan. You've been a great playoff performer throughout your career, so I do believe in you, but you got to start playing better if the Cavs are going to have any chance to beat Detroit. And it's on you. It's not Harden expected to carry them, not Mobley or Allen. You are expected to carry the Cavs.
Great Bud list. Mangini texted me that he loved it, and it's always a pleasure to hear such a great segment.
Great to hear, Coach.
Do you want to jump right into the sports media ombudsman, or do you like to comment on the Bud list?
No, I get the comment I had was on Ant and the.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be the hardest path to a championship ever, just because that's weighed so heavily by who you play in the finals and the finals opponent. But I don't think you would have a harder path to the finals than Joker, Wemby, Shea, to a 60-win team, a 67-win team, a Nuggets team. Yeah, all of it, all time.
All right.
Go ahead, though.
4:14. It's time now for the Sports Media Ombudsman. Get another bite at the Sports Media Ombudsman apple.
Indeed it is. So, Hubs, can we just throw up the picture that I'm putting on the Sports Media Ombudsman before we put up the bar? The picture I'm putting on the Sports Media Ombudsman is me as a clown.
Wow.
Because this is a lesson for one Draymond Green, which is, I don't know about new media, but one of the secrets to old media is being able to laugh at yourself. A little bit about me, if you didn't know it. Kind of annoying voice, bags under my eyes at all times, absurd nose, greasy hair, didn't play sports past high school. I've done pretty well. You know one of the reasons? Are the takes good? I think so. Strong opinion? Sure. But you know what I'm not afraid to do? Get it the way I give it. If I'm going to fire hot takes when I'm ensconced in flames, I got to laugh at myself. I got to be okay with being sometimes laughing at Brew in the hospital bed, and sometimes I'm in the hospital bed. And for 5 years, what is, in my opinion, alongside, well, just one of the 3 greatest shows in the history of sports television inside the NBA, has been grooming Draymond Green to take over for maybe the greatest sports television personality ever, Charles Barkley. And somehow in those 5 years, Draymond has not realized, you know what Barkley's secret sauce is? Laughing at himself. That Kenny and even Ernie and certainly Shaq are going to make fun of him, and Charles is going to sit there and belly laugh about it. He can talk about the lovely ladies of San Antonio or other NBA players or whatever he wants, and people aren't bothered by it because when people talk about him, he sits there and takes it. Draymond doesn't appear to have that gear. And while that can work just fine in solo new media podcasts, down the barrel of the camera, this guy sucks, his career was no good, Austin Rivers, whoever heard of you, all that, on what they're trying to help your post-career be one of the faces of one of the best shows ever, you gotta be okay sometimes being on the wrong end of that stick. Yesterday was a pretty good example to me. He just might not have that gear in him. So my free television advice to Draymond Green, it's okay, man, to sometimes laugh with everybody laughing at you. It makes you more relatable, it makes you more likable, and most importantly, it doesn't make the audience go, oh gosh, it's over. You don't want that. That's a bad one. When the audience is like, I gotta stop the clip, oh no. Just a thought, friend to friend, clutch client to clutch client. Doing it however I can.
No, that's good advice.
Yep.
That is good advice because the tension was palpable.
The tension was palpable.
Like, you know, and so, yeah.
Bonus take.
Wow, bonus take on the Bud list?
Quickly. Just quickly, because I got a little sports media ombudsman.
I can't
myself.
wait to see this.
Andre Drummond. Never do that again.
He doesn't have to redeem himself. Maybe he should practice it. And then next game that happens.
If you start, you refuse to give up the mop. You hold on to that mop unless a teammate who's taller than you comes over. If Kat wants to come over and help, look how fired up Chalamet is. If Kat wants to come over and help, fine. But you cannot, Kat can get his own mop. But you cannot give up the mop. Since that happened, they were outscored 37-28, lost the game.
You actually think that cost them the game?
Can I tell you?
Didn't help. Didn't win them the game, 37-28.
KW thinks it's the equivalent. You're at some big gathering, bunch of people with your girlfriend. Oddly, for some reason, her ex-boyfriend happens to be there as well. And you can't get the jar of pickles open.
You just can't.
And he comes over and is like, let me do that for you.
Some huge gathering.
That's a bad look. That would be a bad look.
Huge gathering.
You got to be like, look, dude, no, I got this.
So I'm going to dip my toe into the sports media ombudsman world.
Thank God. I've been so alone.
I don't really do this too much.
You've been talking.
And I said that Brew will love this take. Jaylen Brown's media strategy. Under duress. The more important thing you have to say, the more care you should take in presenting it. It's a little bit of the medium is the message, an old Marshall McLuhan, I guess it was a hot take back then. So if you want to just have fun, you can go on Twitch. You want to go, IG Live or YouTube Live, want to go explore a haunted house or something? Yeah, let's go on IG Live and see if there's a ghost there. Hey, they're having a blast. If you're trying to have basically your exit interview with NBA fans and you're eligible for an extension, just going on Twitch with sunglasses on is not the absolute best look. Wow. If it's important, writers would love the opportunity to tell your story. Or you could even do a sit-down TV interview, but even those don't work sometimes. LeBron had something very important to do, to announce that he's leaving Cleveland and going to Miami, and it didn't go so great. Yeah. He said, I'm taking it became a meme, and then he did another kind of live thing and said that he was going to win 7, 8, 9, I don't know how many championships he's going to win. Yeah. That didn't work either. So when it was time to go back to Cleveland, he said, you know what I'm doing? Old school. Print media. Sports Illustrated. Lee Jenkins. This is how it was announced. And the issue with Jaylen, he felt frustrated that he had to go back on the stream and said, I feel frustrated that Brad had to address this because his words were taken out of context. Man, you did 2 hours. Like, you can't give the other media that many opportunities to grab from 2 hours. When we take pictures, for example, we'll take 200 pictures. We don't put them all out there. Just pick what you want. We're like, here's the picture of Kevin Wildes. That's it. Quickly, back to LeBron's thing. I looked it up. I'm like, well, Lee Jenkins is a great writer, and it's kind of a legendary article at this point. How good was this article? Let me just read you the lead of LeBron going back to Cleveland. This is the lead. Before anyone ever cared where I would play basketball, I was a kid from Northeast Ohio. It's where I walked. It's where I ran. It's where I cried. It's where I bled. Hello! I'm like, that's pretty good. So I think if you call Lee Jenkins and say, you know what, Lee? The concept of this is, even though we lost in the first round, blew a 3-1 lead, this was actually my favorite year because I was able to see Jason battle back, and I was able to see Peyton Pritchard and Baylor Shireman make a lead, and Derek had a leadership role, and I had a leadership role. That would have been presented perfectly on a platter. And it makes me think, Brew, you know what we miss? Spending some time as a magazine writer with some subject, which I know you're an expert at. This is why I said you would love this edition of the Bud
You
List.
think that lead was better than Jalen's? What's up, chat?
I understand there's a back and forth to it, but if it means something to him, there's professionals out there that would craft your message perfectly. Drake Maye on Mike Vrabel, buckle up.
It lived up to your hoopla.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix's Remarkably Bright Creatures. What if a Pacific octopus held the key to a mystery that could heal your heart? Well, that's Tova's reality. An elderly widow working at an aquarium. Tova forms an unlikely friendship with the curmudgeonly Marcellus, whose remarkable intelligence leads her to a life-changing discovery. Watch Remarkably Bright Creatures with your remarkable moms this Mother's Day weekend, only on Netflix May 8th.
Drake Maye talked about the noise around Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel during a golf pro-am in Charlotte. He played pretty well. When asked if Vrabel was a distraction, he said, "No, I don't. He's done a great job of talking to us and talking us through it. I think that'll take care of itself. I know he's got the right mindset, and I know he's a great human being. I love playing for him." Your reaction to Drake Maye talking about Vrabel?
Listen, I do not buy that there are going to be players on the team that turn on Mike Vrabel because of this. I mean, it's a 53-man roster. Who knows? There might be one or two guys that feel super passionately about almost anything. Mm-hmm. But in general, I don't think that's the problem facing Vrabel and the Patriots.
Right.
I think the fact that up to and including 4 hours ago, if you're really following this story, there's more either photos or news or just the slow drip, because it seems like this was a very long, ongoing relationship and one that doesn't seem like either party felt they really needed to hide all that well, for whatever reason that is. I think there's just going to be more and more. And so I think on Vrabel's side of it, it is incumbent upon him, as uncomfortable as it may be, to actually one time address all of it. Because his initial statement was, I think it's fair to say at this point, at the very least, wildly disingenuous.
Right.
He
said it was laughable.
He said it was laughable. And then when he had to talk to the media, he basically said, personal family matter, focus on my family, all of those things. Typically, we don't get into people's personal lives. This has now spilled over to where the quarterback's being asked about it. Right. When Robert Kraft talks, he's going to be asked about it. It is just, to me, I worry, KW, for the Patriots, that this is just going to continue to be a slow drip where there's an endless supply of, it seems like, pictures or information, unless you cut it off by simply admitting to whatever the truth is and being like, I've laid it all out there. Now it truly is between me, my wife, my children, my family, And I've laid that out to the players, or else, KW, I don't know how Drake Maye doesn't keep getting asked about this when the next revelation comes out.
It's interesting because the initial statement was, what did you call it?
I said wildly disingenuous.
That's kind.
Yeah, I'm trying to, listen, and can I say one other thing before you go? I just, full disclosure to the audience, we obviously know and have a working relationship with one of the major parties involved, and we don't really talk about people's potential extramarital affairs on this show ever, unless it really becomes a part of the story. So I've tried to be very kind and gentle on this, but I think now it has crossed over to where it's a real story. But go ahead.
So to that point, I think there is a whole pool of conjecture and rumors that I don't want to swim in. I do want to talk about football and how this affects the Patriots. And the tree of scandal has several branches. The most important one is Mike Vrabel helping or hurting the team? I think that's what it all boils down to. Whether it's, is he going to keep his job or not? I think it all boils down to, man, are you helping or hurting?
Yeah.
So the strike again on the hurting side was missing the draft. Day 3, maybe not the biggest deal. The board is set, but it's not nothing. Every other coach was there except one. The helping side of this, and a little bit of I think, extinguisher to it's a distraction. Well, it's a distraction online and maybe at the bar as kicking around conversation topics. In the building, it does not seem like a distraction. So I pulled some quotes that we have yet to see distraction inside out. I've started distraction. I know that distraction trying to go outside in, but from inside out, there's no distraction. Christian Gonzalez, that's my coach. Let's go out there and play for. I ride behind Vrabes any time of day. We pulled Spillane, love coach. I'm going to be there to support him as he's there to support me. Hunter Henry, he did a great job once he addressed the team. Obviously he addressed it, and that's kind of all I'll say about it, where I think we'll end up having more of those quotes. Elijah Vera Tucker, who just joined the team. I think he's a phenomenal coach in the league. I'm excited to be coach from Vrabel. Draymond Jones said one of the reasons he joined the team was Vrabel. So I would be interested, or my antennas are up, on if that starts to break. If we start hearing that players are reporting that Vrabel is not either there or doesn't have their full attention or is not supporting them that he has. This is also showing the depth of relationships that he has with people. And final thought before I pass the ball to you, bro. I don't know if there's a limitless well of a story drip, drip, drip. But I do know that I have seen media narratives around coaches change based on wins and losses. When Rex Ryan was running kind of a loose ship and winning, players coach. Yeah. Man, they don't want Belichick. Yeah. You can't coach guys like that. You got to have fun, joking around. And then when Rex Ryan started losing, undisciplined.
Yes.
Same coach, largely the same players, but the result was retrofitted to the narrative. Right now, Patriots, holy cow, we were one of the worst teams in the league and we were just in the Super Bowl. If the schedule breaks, Seahawks, Bills, Chiefs.
And you start off bad.
That it's going to fight with no pictures, no nothing. That's in the past. That will start to come up again. Hey, man, are you totally locked in? Why are we 0-4?
Yeah.
No, look, I think you both make great points. I think your point, because I agree with you, Nick, that if he comes out next week and just addresses it, admits to whatever happened.
So he's done he's done 2 now.
Yeah, but he hasn't fully answered.
He hasn't answered anything.
What's going on? What happened? What was the situation? Mm-hmm. And then even answer some questions. Yeah. I think that would go a long way. Like that ends it to a degree. You are right, though. If they start 1-6, 1-5, whatever, it will come back up because it'll be like, oh, is it a distraction?
It could be nothing. It could just be random fumbles and a mixed extra point. It will be.
It would come back up. But I still think he should address. And I would imagine a PR person might say, look, you need to just get out in front of this to the degree you can now and address it. If Drake Maye and the rest of the players are being sincere, which I think they are, then it's not a fireable offense. What he seems to have done is obviously wrong and immoral, but it's not a fireable offense. It's an NFL coach. We all know.
And it's not. And people get upset. People talk about like you guys did because the Sherrone Moore story. Diana did not work for the Patriots. This was not an HR situation. This was not a position of power.
Somebody who was under
And that's why one could be fireable and one is just embarrassing but not fireable.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he's not a pastor. He's not even a journalist who's supposed to be impartial. Like, he's just an NFL coach. So, but if it becomes such a distraction where players are now, one thing that's probably good for him is it's the timing.
Yes.
Like, I would imagine even if stuff continues to come out every 4 days, 3 days, whatever, for the next 3 weeks, by the time the season starts, you will think there's not much more, anything more that could come out.
The season
so
starts,
that could help you.
The media, I mean,
well, if stuff were to
calendar.
keep coming out, then they would ask players about it, and he'd be asked about it constantly. I just am not sure stuff is going to still come out. The other thing is this. How can he handle it? And again, coming out in front, getting in front of it, admitting everything, probably helps him put it behind him, because the other thing is if he is in the building and he doesn't have his same confidence, he doesn't have his same authority, he doesn't have his same swagger, to the point where he's no longer that commanding presence that he has been as the coach before, that could affect his performance as a coach. So getting out in front of it, I think, is the best way to deal with it.
45 more seconds, Hubs. And the other piece of this, I don't think it's – I would not put money on that Mike Vrabel gets fired. But I think there's other reasons he would potentially not be the week one head coach, and it would be if he steps down. And what I am not – again, I don't know – people – everyone has different relationships and what is, different relationships with their spouses and different, setups, all of it. I'm not going to pretend to know. So maybe this is not as big of a problem at home as we all think it is. Who knows? What I do know is I do not care how good you are at your job. There does sometimes come a time where things become so tenuous or difficult at home that it starts impacting your job.
Definitely.
And at some point, sometimes people at home say, hey, we need to focus just on home and nothing on the job, particularly if you're wealthy and it's not like how are we going to put food on the table. Right. So if I were a Pats fan, those are the things that would worry me more than Robert Kraft picking up the New York Post and being like, I'm firing him.
LeBron is still a 15.5-point underdog again tonight against SGA. Same thing. They lost by 18, so I guess it's kind of good. All right, here's how LeBron and SGA fared in Game 1. LeBron had more points, more rebounds, better assist-to-turnover ratio, shot better, hit more threes.
Plus minus no good.
What are you going to do? All right, so what would it mean if LeBron outplays SGA again?
Here's the only thing I think it would actually mean that matters. I think every team across the league that is considering whether or not they should want to be in the LeBron James business next year should take note. That if it's this guy still, and it's not like, well, he's been able to coast. Like, no, he's had to be the number one guy. We're now in round 2 of the playoffs. The games are every other day. If the guy who's about to run away with MVP for the second straight year, when everybody knows right now you just got to stop LeBron. Mm-hmm. If he still can do it, I think that makes him even more attractive to a team, not as a farewell tour, not as a way to pack stadiums, but as we're trying to win the 2027 NBA championship. How does LeBron James do against the best team in the league? Well, he can be the best player on the court. That's, to me, where it would be relevant.
Yeah, I don't think any team next season is going to bring LeBron in to be the number one guy.
I agree with that, but go ahead. Sorry.
I think, though, to your point, I think he's already done it. And so if the Knicks don't get to the finals, if the Cavs lose this series or don't get to the finals or whatever, those are two teams, maybe Denver, like teams would be looking at him as he could come in and help us win a championship. And not as a role player and all that, like as the second guy and play tremendous basketball. So I agree with you on that. For the present, if they lose and let's say it's similar to game one, it's not going to mean anything. LeBron even said himself, it's not SGA versus the Lakers. It's not LeBron versus the Thunder or LeBron versus SGA.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to think he's better than SGA or that he's still the best player in the world or whatever. Obviously, if he did it in a win, maybe it has something. To me, what would resonate the most would be if he went out there and had like a 40-point masterpiece, one of his old masterpieces in a win. I mean, that, or even in a loss, though, it will resonate. Like if he goes out there and scores 40? Yeah. I mean,
they're only scoring 90.
In some ways, he's a victim of his own greatness in that if he goes out there and does what he did in game one, 27, 8, 9, whatever, people are going to be like, oh, LeBron played great, but, it's not going to shock us. But if he goes out there and scores 40, then I think people...
Nobody has scored 40 on the Thunder since LeBron 2 years ago. And so it'd be that part would be pretty crazy. I think that, as far as it being like a memorable, even short-term memorable story, 40 in a loss, like yes. 30 point or any excellent performance in a win. If they win tonight and he outplays SGA, that is to me pretty seismic's too strong.
I think it'd be big for the time.
That's what I mean.
But if they lose in 5 or 6, it's he played great.
But Brew, if they win tonight. And nobody thinks he is.
Until game 3, it would be a huge story.
I'm only trying to get through tomorrow's show, though, He's not trying to do his Hall of Fame speech. 5 o'clock, it's time for First Things First overtime. Today, are we expecting 40 points from LeBron? One person here says his legacy will be damaged if he doesn't. Not true, LeBron. Meanwhile, how much pressure are the Knicks under? OG just day-to-day, so that's some good news. Game 3 tomorrow in Philly. And finally, is criticism of SGA fair? Or is he just playing championship basketball? Special edition of Frenemies coming up at about...
They're all special.
5:20.
Yeah. No, I didn't laugh at that. I laughed at SGA slipping on the banana peel.
It was drawn fouls.
He didn't draw
that one I didn't like. I don't like the rip-through.
The rip-through is
it was about 3.
The rip-through is less egregious
it was about
than
3
some
of
these,
them that were
the one you're about to see.
That's ridiculous.
I mean,
that one is
that's a bad one.
Chris Broussard, Kevin Wiles, Nick Wright, resident Cubs fan Danny Parkins got into the regular show too, regulation show. That was great.
So exciting. It was an honor to be there.
We're starting in San Antonio. Spurs won this one by 38. Wemby goes for 19 and 50. But keeping a level head about the blowout victory. Take a listen.
As Pop says, it's never... when you win, you're never as good as you thought you were. And when you lose, you're never as bad. Or rarely. So, obviously, stay humble and keep working.
Great. He's so good. Also, we talked about how great that tank top. I might get one of those tank tops.
With the NBA, the official NBA
the Nike,
brand.
for Monday walk-in.
It would look
for the Monday walk-in. I gotta say, of the 4 of us, you're really the only one that could pull it off. Sorry, Cowboy Brew.
I might surprise you.
I'll admit, I couldn't.
No, you could.
No.
You've got that trainer.
Yeah.
How's that going?
How did that trainer go?
Yeah, we paid for 3 sessions ahead of time. We've still only done 1.
Yeah. That's good. You got 2 more in the
It was a Christmas present.
What did Wemby and the Spurs prove in the blowout win?
I was actually really impressed with Wemby, even though the stat line wasn't great. Like we talked a lot this year about what's it going to be like for him in the playoffs? First time in the playoffs. Like, it's just a series of firsts. Big minutes, different refereeing, tough defense, all of it. And in game one, it looked like it was a real question of whether or not Wemby was going to be able to meet Minnesota's physicality. Like, they clearly tried to body him, elbow him, push him around, and make him settle for threes, and he did. He went 0 of 8 from 3. And this was just one play, but I think it was a fun one. You guys showed it earlier. But, like, his first basket, whether or not this was a pass or not, he gets, like, checked from the front and checked from the back, finishes, doesn't go down, and talks some trash afterwards. And I thought it was just very apparent that he said, I'm going to come out and, like, set the tone, offense and defense. And so if you just look at his first 5 minutes, like his first 5 minutes of action, 7 points, 2 boards, an assist, 3 field goal attempts, got to the line on the and one there, 7 of the first 13 points. He was just like, I'm not going to be intimidated by your physicality. And there was at least some question off of game one if he would be able to meet Minnesota in more of a street fight, and I thought he was great.
I'm surprised at your comment about the box score doesn't look good. I mean, 19 and 15 with 2 blocks is what he had.
It doesn't look best player in the world. It looks good. Like, I don't think it looks bad, right?
I think it looks, a 19-15 game. First of all, he only played, 26 minutes? It was a rout, and that changes everything. But a 19, Magic Johnson, and the 80s was high scoring. Yep. The 80s wasn't the 90s and the early 2000s. High scoring. Magic was a career 19-point scorer. It's your game. And I do think eventually, some points in his career, maybe very soon, he'll average high 20s, maybe 30 points a game. And I think he can clearly do that. But because like Magic Johnson, we were fine with the 19 points because he was such a great assist man. For him, he hit such a great defensive player and rebounder, 15 rebounds, nothing to sneeze at. I have no problem with a 19-15 game at all.
I have no problem with it either. He didn't need to score more. They won by...
Right. You do have other scorers on the team, too.
They won by 38. I guess I just mean, like, he scored 11 in game one. He was 0 of 8 from 3. I thought there was a chance he was going to try to come out and put 25, put 30 on the board. He didn't need to, but it felt like the game was over after the first 5 minutes of the game.
If it was a close game, maybe he would have had that. I just was not worried about the physicality from game one. Like, I thought game one, he didn't hit shots. And I thought their game plan wasn't as strong. You see there, he's kind of muscling up Julius Randle. I think there are players stronger than him in the league for sure. I don't think he's weak. He's going to get stronger. I don't even know if he has his man body yet, but I don't think he's weak. I think you're 7'7". I think he's just, because he's bigger than everybody else, he's strong, I think, compared to your average player. So I think he'll be fine with the physicality.
What were you pointing at me?
Segment within a segment.
Love it.
One part trivia, one part cool stats.
Wow.
I don't have a name for it.
Okay.
I do have a name for it.
Okay.
Good sign?
Okay.
Time for the first edition of Good Sign? From Josh. This is the only series in the last decade where everyone on both teams scored 21 points or fewer in back-to-back games.
Oh, nobody scored more than 21.
Good sign?
For who?
Oh, wow.
You tell me.
Nobody on either team.
I think that's a bad sign for Minnesota.
Why?
They need ants to be ant.
Well, so, yes, I agree, except they won game one without it, right?
Yeah, but do you think that formula is repeatable?
It was they eliminated the Nuggets without him playing. They beat the Spurs in game one without it. I think they can win.
But somebody's going, Io scored 40.
But that Io scored 40 in game early in the series. Game 6, Io was out and Ant was out, and they eliminated the Nuggets. I think they can win another game this series easily without Ant being excellent. I think they're going to need Ant to be excellent at points in the series to win the series. I don't know if that's a good sign for anybody, to be honest. It's interesting and it's unique, and I think it does speak to this was such a blowout that none of the major players are playing in the third quarter, or in the fourth quarter. But game one, everybody was playing. To me, Wemby didn't prove much because I felt like Danny's compliments were almost an insult, to be totally honest. That if he is either the best or second best or third best player in the world, then him coming out and scoring 7 points in the first 6 minutes of the game, not that big of a shock. We shouldn't, especially after they lost. Him having a bounce back game, even if statistically it wasn't overwhelming, should be the baseline expectation. Shea had a bad game one. I certainly think if that had happened and they had lost, we would all be expecting Shea to come out tonight and to be excellent. I think Wemby is going to be fine in this series. I don't think he's going to get bullied. I don't think we're going to leave this series being like, man, Wemby's not as good as we thought. I do think we might leave this series and say, hey, San Antonio shouldn't play him 29 minutes a game in the regular season next year. That we might leave. I think what we didn't get to see in this game because they were so dominant is 40 minutes something right now that he's going to have a hard time handling? And if that's the case, I think that could be bad for them later in the series. My biggest kind of takeaway from the game was less about Wemby and more about right now the most important player on the Timberwolves is Jaden McDaniels. And he has to be able to stay out of foul trouble. And because once they all of a sudden are going, when they put Jalen Clark in the game, they're playing 4-on-5 on offense. And when they put Bones Highland in the game, they're playing 4-on-5 on defense. And especially with Io now, I don't think Io's going to play again.
Listen, I know him a little bit from my time in Chicago. I hope he doesn't, because he's going to make a lot of money this offseason.
Unless he hurts his Achilles.
But I know he will want to play.
Okay.
He will. He's just that kind of guy. He will want to play, but I hope he does.
But yeah, the calf injury turning into a heel injury is worrisome. Yeah. I agree with you. Ant needs to be better. I think the Timberwolves are going to keep coming. I think what Chris Finch's message to the Timberwolves has to be is a reminder, guys, we are not roll the ball out type of team. We have to be the more desperate team. We have to be the hungrier team. We have to be the better execution team, because as we are presently constituted, we're not going to be the more talented team in any of our series left. If we win this one against Oklahoma City, we're not more talented. And if we win that one, if the Knicks are on the other side of the bracket, we're not more talented. What we have to be is hungrier, tougher, all of it. And to me, for the first time in a bit, Minnesota came out not desperate, and they ended up getting the doors blown off them.
All right, head to the East. This was a back-and-forth battle. The Knicks finally came out on top. Brunson and Maxey had 26. OG had 24. But he was hurt and left the game in the fourth. He's listed as day-to-day right now, so probably better than we initially expected this morning. Game 3 is in Philly tomorrow. Here's Mikal Bridges.
Just play desperate, just be even better than what we did today. We just got to keep being better and, not worry that we're up too low. Just it's 0-0 and go out there and play.
Danny, how confident should Knicks fans be?
I would just be stressed.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I would just be stressed. You are still 6 wins away from this season being acceptable. Right? It is finals or bust. You are up 2-0. The other team's best player is hurt, and Boston has been eliminated. They will get crushed locally in their building from their ownership on down if they don't make it to the finals. Right now, today, it looks like they should. They should. But OG Anunoby matters a lot for them. The initial reports are positive. But who knows? It just shows how fragile it all is. And so I don't think that they can win the East if that injury is serious. Maybe it isn't. We'll see the reporting. Hamstrings are tough.
You don't think they can win the East if OG was out for the next 3 weeks?
I wouldn't pick them to.
Well, you wouldn't pick him with a healthy OG.
No, fair enough. Would you? Brew thought he was a top 10 player in the playoffs to this point. And he arguably has been because he's been shooting great, and we know that his defense is there. He's averaging over 20. I would be very nervous given that anything short of making the finals is a huge failure, even more so since the playoffs started.
I mean, you bringing in – at first I was like, what? But when you're tying the stress level to Anunoby's injury.
Yes.
Right? Okay, I thought you were just saying they're clearly in control of this series. Now, we know it could change, but they look like they're going to coast through this series. Nick was saying earlier, and I agree, I wouldn't even play OG, even if he's available for Game 3. And if they win Game 3, I don't know that I'd play him in Game 4.
I wouldn't play him win or lose. In Game 3, even at 2-1, I wouldn't play him for Game 4.
I might, depending on what the doctors are saying. Sure. Like, if he's fine, I'd probably throw him out there for 4. But anyway, I do agree with you that if Detroit beats Cleveland and then it's the Knicks and Detroit, I think it's going to be hard for the Knicks to beat Detroit without OG. Now, with him, the way the Knicks have looked, they have a great chance. Obviously, they have far more offensive firepower. But without him, I just don't know if they can match Detroit's physicality. So I get you there. But right now, OG, they need him. And if the reports are that he's day-to-day, so it's not a terrible injury. So I wouldn't be stressed, though, if I'm a Knicks fan right now.
Listen, I didn't pick the Knicks. I picked the Celtics, and in this series, once I heard Embiid was back, I picked the Sixers. Embiid's now not back, so I can pick whoever I want. Nice being having the caveats there. But being as impartial as I can be, the Knicks have looked so much better than the other 3 teams still in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The delta is not OG Anunoby's development between how the Knicks have looked up to this point in the playoffs and how Philly has looked, how Detroit has looked, or how Cleveland has looked. Now, if Detroit looks awesome tonight, I will adjust that and just be like, Detroit had a bad opening week of the playoffs and has been, 5 wins straight since then, including 3 facing elimination. Maybe I would tweak it. But my answer to how confident Knicks fans should be is the most confident they've been this century.
Can I push back on it?
Sure.
I agree with that.
Before Philadelphia played the Celtics, they were chanting, "We want Boston."
Yeah.
They go into Boston and get cooked, and the Boston fans start chanting, "We want Boston," to mock the Sixers. Up 3-1, holy cow, Tatum's back, everything's great. Then Embiid's like, you know what, I am healthy. And we're going to win 3 games in a row and be back. Yeah. If you view Embiid through the lens of not just a basketball player, but more how we treat maybe a dominant relief pitcher. Like, you know what? If you give him, he can give you a lot, but if you got to shut him down, and then he'll pop back up. Rather than just we didn't even know about these injuries. Yeah. I think that he's going to be back. If I'm the Knicks, I'm like, guys, chill out a second. If this guy comes back, we just saw him eliminate a team almost single-handedly. Everyone had their moment, but he unlocks everything.
The reason I picked the Sixers saying if Embiid's healthy is I do think the Sixers, with him, their depth becomes less of a problem, and he is a tough matchup for everyone involved. But
are you writing him off for the series?
I am not writing him off for the series. I am writing off that he is playing every game remaining in the series.
Right, he might play 3 games.
Right, and I don't know, Christina, do we have the minutes played graphic? I think Philly is, Philly when they don't get 4 guys playing 40-plus minutes. It's the last 2 games they have played without Embiid. Game 3 against Boston and last night. And the rest of the NBA, it's 2 combined. Those 3 guys on the left and you saw it at the end of last night, are wearing down. Yeah. Like, it's so much to ask of those guys. And this series now, like the rest of these series, through Game 5 is every other day. It's just every other day, get out there. Maybe Maxey has an endless well of energy, but he seemed tired at the end of yesterday's game. And so I just don't know. I get you could argue going into the conference finals last year, Knicks fans be more confident, I suppose, because we were underrating the Pacers. But the Knicks couldn't be on a better run of basketball than they've been on these last 5 games. Like it's noteworthy that this game was close because they've been annihilating people. And it's not Brunson's hamstring who's banged up. I know Danny Anunoby's been excellent for them, but at best, he's their 3rd most important player.
I agree with you. Your confidence level that they win the East right now is pretty high, right?
Yeah, with Embiid's injury, yeah.
Brew, pretty high?
No, I picked Detroit
so you're
to
still
beat
picking
them,
Detroit, But they came in with a mandate from ownership that they make the finals and then maybe win it, and now the playoffs have broken perfectly.
So that should be good.
Yeah,
that's my point. Here's my question,
yeah, I
Danny.
know, but
it's May 7th. It's on a scale of 1 to 100 on how good these playoffs have gone as of this moment, incorporating OG's injury.
It's gone very well.
They're at a 92? The only way it would have been better is if CJ would have missed one of those shots and OG would have had no injury whatsoever. Like
I hear you. I think you're kind of addressing 2 different things. Like I hear you on, look, no matter how great we look, if we don't get to the finals, it doesn't matter. I get that from the fans, the owner has said that, all that. But Nick is just looking at how they've been playing.
And how the other
right, compared to other teams. They have clearly looked like the best team in the East, and there's no reason to think they won't continue to roll right now, at least right now. So I just think I understand where you're coming from, but if you can just break it down to how well they're playing and how the brackets are breaking for them, I think you'd have to be confident.
It's the combo of how well they're playing. Cleveland has not looked good. Philly's best player or second best player is it.
There's no way he's playing the next 5.
Just to your point, KW.
Fathom that.
You're right. We didn't even know he had these injuries. Like we were worried about the knee.
That's a good sign.
And so,
he's got an ankle now,
again, I am leaving the door open for Detroit because they had a 6-month awesome regular season and they've been awesome for the last week and a half. That maybe they just. At the layoff from the end of the regular season, beginning of the playoffs, they were just bad for a few games. So Detroit maybe can start feeling better about where they're at. But man, I'm not. I live in New York. I like the Knicks fans, but I am not, historically a Knicks fan. If I were, I'd be pretty stoked right now.
Okay. The series officially hasn't started, so.
That's right. Exactly.
Is it fair to criticize SGA's style of play, and will it change tonight?
You know what I realized? The Cavs playoffs haven't started.
Happy Frenemies Thursday. Welcome back to the OT. Let's go to tonight's Lakers-Thunder matchup, Nick. SGA in Game 1, an uninspiring 18 points with 7 turnovers and some pretty embarrassing foul baiting. Nick, you said yourself on Twitter, it was a good one. Got some good numbers for you. 1.3 million views. Call me old-fashioned, but I think the soon-to-be 2-time MVP should drive to the basket with the intent to score instead of driving to the basket with the intent to trick the ref.
Yeah.
How much criticism of his style of play is too much? Is it fair?
Well, that's fair. I said it.
You said it.
I'm not going to say that my criticism's unfair.
Here's what I would ask you, though.
Yeah.
Is he the only one who does it?
He is, without a doubt, the most egregious offender
of flopping,
of that exact thing.
Well, they don't keep a stat.
No, so I want to be very, very clear on what my specific criticism is, and I know you're going to have a million fancy stats.
I'm ready for you, but
I'm telling you right now.
I know what you mean. Driving without the intent to shoot.
Correct. It is. I am not saying he is the worst at selling contact. I am not saying he is the worst at, or the best, however you want to look at it, at, your hand's in the wrong place, I'm going to do a rip through.
The James Harden.
What I am saying is he is the league's #1 offender of the goal of this possession is to trick the refs. He is the #1 offender of that, and the #1 offender of, if I take this angle, I am not taking this angle because I believe it is going to result in a made field goal. I'm going to take this angle because I believe it will result in a foul being called on my opponent. And things that I would accept from a much lower level of player, I find unbecoming for a soon-to-be two-time MVP. And I think that criticism is totally fair, and honestly, everyone should agree with it.
I think that the random flailing is unbecoming of all of the guys who do it, and he's not the only one who does it, and he's not the only great player who does it. Luka does it, Brunson does it, Harden does it, Embiid does it. These guys make up stuff and flail around. Now, I understand that shot is what he's trying to shoot.
Again, show me the Luka play where that looks. Again, I hope we see it. That is not at all what SGA does. Luka has there are a lot of fair criticisms of Luka.
Right, running down the court.
He complains all the time.
And not running back on defense.
Yes, and he gets criticized for that. And that's a fair criticism. But none of this rip looks like you have Luka's whole career to choose from. I could just use the first quarter of the last game SGA played. And the worst things would be the two we just showed.
The idea, though, again, if you drive to the basket, you should get fouled a lot.
Unless you're Bron, sure.
You're Bron. All right, so let's just do drives to the rim.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do. That is where he rated. Third most drives to the game, right? Now we're going to put fouls drawn next to them.
Yeah.
It is totally in line with the more you drive to the basket, the more fouls you draw. It's not some sort of crazy outlier. And while you might say that particular play offends your basketball sensibilities more than a different version of flopping, your, what do we call Luka? Adult Slovenian?
Large adult Slovenian.
He drives less and gets more fouls because he flops just as much.
No, that is not why Luka draws more fouls. That's flatly wrong.
What do you mean?
Luka draws more fouls because he's bigger and stronger and harder to guard.
Dude,
that's...
The rip through is the cousin of the flail, which is the cousin of the flop.
No,
why?
It's not.
It's all ref baiting.
There is, again, if you are bothered by the rip through, that's fine. I don't love it. I don't find it to be embarrassing.
Well, I mean, they changed the rule because of it, because it was such a big thing.
Yes,
correct. That guys were doing. So I mean, I definitely had a problem.
Which is
with it.
right, but they changed that rule 10 years ago. So they changed that rule before Luka came into the league. So the rip through is not as big of a problem now because you don't get free throws on it unless you're in the bonus. This is what I find so maddening about some of the OKC just ardent fans, and in this moment, you. Just say, sorry he's good at it. Sorry it works. Sorry the refs aren't better. Rather than trying to convince me and everyone. Let me ask you this. Why do you think he gets criticized in a way? People criticize Luka for the thing he does the most, whining. People used to criticize Harden for the thing he did the most when he was the number one guy, and people hated it of just
jumping
trying.
Into the defender.
Or no, the other thing he would do is grab the little chicken wing.
Yeah.
He'd do the little chicken wing. When Luka gets criticized for being the biggest whiner, is it because they're picking on him, or it's because he's the biggest whiner?
He's among the biggest whiners.
Okay,
the whole league whines.
But
the whole league whines.
Right, but
he's the best player who whines the most. So
but do you think it's fair that he gets the most criticism for that?
Sure, he's the face of it.
Yeah. And Harden, when he was doing the chicken wing, what was he doing that more than everyone else?
Again, they don't keep that on Basketball Reference, but yes.
Yes. Okay. So when everyone who's not an OKC fan is like, hey, yes, flopping's a problem in the league, but the guy who's the biggest, most egregious perpetrator of it is, Shay, do you think it's because we are all on a group chat?
No, I
and
don't,
we're like,
I don't at all.
screw this guy, or is it because we're watching the game
Again,
one
I'm not,
and
dude,
show
Nick,
me the
he
play?
Shot 3 free throws in that game.
Yes, because he didn't trick him.
I know because and listen, again, I said at the front end, I'm not going to defend that play. I'm saying
but that's all you're doing.
No, man, Brunson does it, Harden does it, Embiid does it, Luka does it.
They don't do that, and that's what I'm saying. You can say all these guys try to bait the refs. All these guys flop.
That is exactly what I'm saying. That is exactly
what I'm saying is,
why is one more offensive to you than the other?
Run that rip again, please, and we'll stay here as long as we don't even have to talk about whether the Bucks aren't keeping Giannis. You can be sad about that.
I'm happy to talk about Giannis.
No, I'd rather stay here.
Trade.
I'd rather stay here.
All right.
Why don't we talk about the other guys? I'm about to show you. It's not even that where he got the foul call.
That happens.
Yes, I said it's not that. You want to know why we don't talk about that? That right there.
Oh, we've never seen a guy act like there's a sniper in the building? He's the only player that does the head jerk when he drives. You tell me Jalen Brunson, when he drives to the rim, doesn't ever throw his head back?
No. Danny?
That's what that is.
Here's the problem with, and I feel badly
Go
because
ahead.
you are.
Take it out on me.
You're a public defender right now for a client who is on film with the knife, who then tweeted about it afterwards. And you're like, he's the only one with the Twitter? We are showing video of
I'm not defending that play.
I understand you're not defending that play, but you're trying to convince a sports watching public that play happens all the time. And what I'm telling you, this play we are about to see right here, that one does not happen all the time. A guy driving into the lane, no one touching him, it looking like he slipped on the banana peel for Mario Kart and throwing the ball over his head. It doesn't happen all the time. And I think the added frustration, and let me ask you this. Do you think there is something to my hypothesis that one of the reasons he is so unguardable is because he is able to set the tone with the defenders early that this stuff is going to send me to the line. If you are in my general vicinity, I am going to trick the refs, and therefore people are in foul trouble, in the bonus, and hesitant to guard him the way other stars get guarded. Because I think the fact that he goes 2 years without having a bad offensive game in the regular season, and once a series has it in the postseason, is evidence that when that stuff stops working so well, he is still great, but not unstoppable. In the regular season, he's unstoppable. In the postseason, he's great, and that to me is why.
I think that there's a different officiating whistle in the postseason for him and anybody else, and that is good. And that impacts him, but it impacts anybody who shoots a lot of free throws. Like, why would it impact him more than Luka or Embiid?
Exactly. Why would it?
I don't
because
think it does.
Well, I don't know. It's 4 of his last 28 playoff games, he hasn't scored 20.
But a lot of those are in blowouts,
and 0 of his. No.
They're in play.
Buddy, do they not blow people out in the regular season?
No, of course they do.
How many of his last 140 regular season games has he not scored 20?
0.
Okay, so something is going on. You're right. There is a tougher whistle in the postseason.
For everybody.
Yes. And the guys whose goal is, more often than not, to actually make a basketball move and score are less affected from it than the guys whose goal is just to get the whistle. And that's all I'm saying. And to quote Miles Brown, it is a compliment to SGA as to why we're so mad. It's because he's so good he doesn't need to do it. It is Sherlock Holmes planting drugs on suspects. You don't have to do it, bro. And I can't believe you're sitting here saying he's not doing it worse than Jalen Brunson. Of course he is. Of course he is.
We will watch Jalen Brunson tonight. No, they don't play tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Drive to the rim and flail his head back to try to sell that there was contact there.
Yes.
And to me, that is the same thing as that play.
Okay.
I don't see why it's different. You're trying to bait the ref into calling something that didn't happen.
Because one's embarrassing.
Driving to the rim and going like this is not embarrassing?
You know what? Not quite like that. It's not. Okay. And I can't, I can't convince you except for the fact that I truly believe if he weren't on the team that you think is this all-time great team,
just think that
you would be as bothered as everyone else is by it. We didn't all get together and be like, let's pick on SGA.
No, but criticizing the winning team and the best team is something that happens throughout sports.
This existed before they won.
Welcome back to First Things First. We're starting with the Knicks, now up 2-0 on the Sixers. 26 points from Jalen Brunson, 24 from OG Anunoby, who exited the game with what we now know is a right hamstring injury. He is listed as day-to-day. The Knicks' second leading scorer behind Jalen Brunson. Here is Jalen Brunson on the Knicks ahead of the rest of the series. Take a listen.
Most importantly, just staying poised, staying composed. Just figuring out just one play at a time, one step at a time, and not looking too far ahead. And when they make it faster, when they go up one or we take the lead back, just focusing and paying attention to the details, and just find a way how to just make the next play on the other side of the ball.
Former NBA All-Star and MSG Network analyst Wally Szczerbiak is with me now. You can catch Wally live on MSG Network's pre- and post-game throughout the Knicks series against the Sixers. Wally, thank you so much for joining us. All right, so the Celtics are out. The Pistons fought to a tough Game 7. Joel Embiid obviously not 100%. How much pressure is on the Knicks to come out of the Eastern Conference this year?
I think there's a lot of pressure. I think they embraced the pressure. Mike Brown was brought to be the head coach. They made that move with Tom Thibodeau to win a championship. So it's pretty much championship or bust. They felt like they left a little bit on the table by not making the finals last year and losing in the Eastern Conference Finals to Indiana. All the players are embracing it. The coaches are embracing it. The fans are loving it. And the Knicks are rising to the occasion and playing some of their best basketball in a long time.
That's what I was just going to follow up with. You've watched them closer than anyone all year. You watch every game. Is this the best they've played all season, this exact 5-game stretch?
No question. We felt like they were going to peak in the playoffs. I think the coaching staff did a good job. The medical staff did a good job of not pushing them too hard in the regular season. I think they left some wins on the table in the regular season. They did end up getting the 3 seed, but I thought they were going into the playoffs totally healthy. The roster is complete as far as a deep bench with guys that can help and come off the bench and make plays and play a lot of different ways. And I think we saw that in the first series against Atlanta. They got pushed with their backs against the wall, down 2-1, having to win a game in Atlanta, or they would have been down 3-1, and who knows what would have happened. And believe me, in New York, the skies were falling going into that Game 4. But the Knicks rose to the occasion, have played their best basketball since, and they've looked like a dominant championship contender.
Yeah, they've proven me wrong. I picked them to lose. I watched them a lot this year, and the inconsistency just bothered me. And Towns has been a lot better defensively over the last few months, it seemed, and he is consistently giving a lot of effort on that end of the floor. Brunson's been unconscious. OG Anunoby has been hitting his shot. If they fall anything short of a championship, it's going to feel like it was the whole season was a failure, especially with everything that's gone on around them. And I can't escape the feeling of, all right, maybe Atlanta just got a little fat and happy on beating teams that were tanking at the end of the season, and they weren't that good. And now they're beating up on a Philly team, a 7 seed, and Joel Embiid obviously not 100%. Maybe the East is just breaking perfectly for them, but also have they played anyone in this 5-game stretch that is even on their caliber?
Listen, that's a legitimate question. That Hawks team was pieced together at the trade deadline. They made that huge trade with Trae Young. They were playing great basketball down the end of the season. They have a lot of length. They were a very good defensive team. But the Knicks were able to shut them down completely on the offensive end of the floor. And you need to score to win, especially in the playoffs. So the Knicks can only play who's in front of them. But I think what they have done as a team is show that they're capable of winning a lot of different ways. And I think that's been what's so valuable and what Mike Brown has brought to the table. I had played for Mike Brown back in 2009. I loved him as a coach. He was a great defensive-minded coach. But what he has brought to this team offensively, they are really tough to prepare for. Jalen Brunson, it's not just iso ball with him dribbling out the clock. like it got to at times in the playoffs and in the regular season, quite frankly, this year. He has kind of taught this team that we are much better when everyone is rising, has the ball in their hands, the ball is moving, sharing shots, sharing the responsibilities. We're tough to prepare for, and that finish to the Atlanta series and the start to Philly series is exactly what I think this coaching staff envisioned with this team.
And I know people have been watching, but I want to show it anyway. OG Anunoby, this offensive performance, like we just pulled some of his playoff ranks. Wally, and I don't know if Mike Brown gets the credit or if it's a hot hand. First in the playoffs in field goal percentage, first in plus minus, second in three-point percentage, and then, of course, we know the defense is great. Did you ever think you'd see those offensive numbers from OG?
Hey, when he came here from the Toronto Raptors, the Knicks just completely escalated as a team, and he was such a key component to complement what Jalen Brunson does out there on the floor. Because defensively, he can guard all 5 positions. He's played the 5 a lot. And the fact that he's rebounded really effectively at that 5 position has been huge. And then offensively, Karl Anthony Towns is the guy who's unlocked OG.
Yeah.
Because he's an elite slasher, he's an elite finisher and cutter. And now the offense doesn't have the ball in Jalen's hands all the time. The ball's moving around. Karl Anthony Towns is playing like Jokic at the top of the key, orchestrating the offense, playing a point center. And OG can cut, and he can finish. And if you guard him one-on-one coming off screens, he's going to get an advantage and finish under the basket or wherever. So that's really unlocked his shooting. He's always been a really good three-point shooter, but once you start seeing the ball go through the basket with a bunch of dunks and transition and in the half court, then those threes start to fall and the floodgates open. So OG's playing his best basketball he's ever played, I think, in his career in these playoffs. And I think that's why the Knicks are another legitimate championship contender, because of the way he's stepped up his game.
Let's go to the Western Conference now in San Antonio. They're playing the Wolves, a team that obviously you spent a lot of time with. It's a 1-1 series. They got 19 from Wemby last night with 15 boards after the 11 points he had in Game 1. Chris Finch, always pretty direct, the Wolves head coach after the game on what went wrong. Take a listen.
They just kicked our butt in every aspect of the game tonight. So offensively, defensively, it didn't matter. They took it to us, and we didn't really respond very well.
What do you say to your team after a tough loss like this, or do you let the stat sheet speak for itself?
No, I just told them we just got punked.
I love Chris Finch. We just got punked. Do you think this is going to be a long series?
I do. That team's banged up. Losing DiVincenzo, he was the heart and soul of that team. That was just a crusher. I think for a lot of the fans in Minnesota and just people, fans of basketball, like Devo's known as just a heart and soul guy wherever he is, just a guy you love to root for. But that team is deep, and that team, knocked off a Denver team in a really, really tough series. And the fact that Ant-Man is playing, coming off the bench, but he's contributing a little bit. They stole Game 1. Going back to Minnesota, we know that's a tough place to win. Obviously, the Spurs are young. They're a little inexperienced. So I think the Timberwolves, with their experience, they've been in the Western Conference Finals the last 2 seasons. I envision this being a long series and a tough series for the Spurs because Chris Finch can really coach.
He's an incredible coach, and I feel terribly about it because I thought it was going to be a long series after Game 1, and they said don't overreact to Game 1, and now I think I'm overreacting to Game 2. I thought the Spurs totally met the moment. And if Ayo is hurt and McDaniels is going to get in foul trouble because he's going to have to play so many minutes, you mentioned the DiVincenzo injury. Ant, I love that he's playing through it, but they need him to be Ant. They need him to be a top 5 guy in the sport. It might just be too much attrition for me with Minnesota. Maybe the home crowd lets them split the games there, and then by definition, I guess it's a long series because it would go 6. But I just think there's a huge talent gap at this point, and the Spurs in Game 2, I thought, really met the physicality of the Wolves.
That's fair, and you have Wembanyama, who's a total difference maker. He didn't play well offensively in Game 1, but he had 10-plus blocks. So, the guy can really change a series and change a game defensively. But that team is a little young. I really think, that team hasn't gone deep into the playoffs, and when you get at this point, the experience factor, I think, is very, very important. So we'll see if they can break through, but it's not easy to win up there in Minnesota. I love playing up there. I love going to those games. I'm going to try to sneak into one of those playoff games up there in Mini. The new ownership's doing a great job up there. You still have a guy like Julius Randle, who's a tough guy to match up with and causes some problems. And, they have a deep bench that they've prepared, for runs like this because they've been to the Western Conference Finals the last couple years. So this series is 1-1. Right now, Minnesota did their job by getting the split. I see what you're saying. That was a back, against the wall type win for the Spurs, and they came out and got the job done. But the Timberwolves have to respond and defend home court, and they got an opportunity to do it in the next 2 games.
And I think everyone should be rooting for the Wolves. Like Wemby, he's inevitable. He'll get there. But, man, undermanned, tough. They take on the embodiment of their coach. They are a fun team to watch.
I want a Wolves-Knicks finals. Believe me, that would be my dream finals. I would love to see.
I wonder why. Former Knick and Wolf Wally Zerbiak. Coming up, Lakers Thunder, Game 2 tonight. LeBron and SGA, we talk about on the OT. Welcome back. Game 2 tonight. Lakers and Thunder. OKC a cool 15.5-point favorite at home. They squeaked out that cover with an 18-point win in Game 1. SGA wasn't great. LeBron had 27. Wally Zerbiak still hanging out with us. All right, Wally, who's got the bigger game in Game 2, LeBron or SGA?
Well, LeBron's playing with house money. What he's doing at his age, it's so impressive. I was teammates with him back in 2009, which is, 17 years ago, and he still looks like the same player. So, he's been playing outstanding basketball. We'll see if the Lakers can pull off a heroic upset, but that OKC team, they are deep and they are loaded, especially at home.
We should have had our research department do how many players have come into the league and retired between when you were a teammate of LeBron and now. It's got to be thousands.
Thousands. It's crazy. I think Durant's the only one that's still playing.
Yeah, LeBron and Durant. Listen, I think SGA is kind of inevitable. He had that bad Game 1 where he went 5 of 18, and then he's been over 50% every game since. I think he'll take it personally and have a monster game tonight. Lakers really have no answer for what he does and what the Thunder does.
I agree. And the Lakers are going to try to steal one because if they can get Luka back and push this series as long as possible, who knows what can happen. But I'll be tuned in. I love the games out west.
Well, Wally, we appreciate you hanging out with us. You guys do great work over on MSG. We'll be watching the games tonight.